Hello YouTube and people of the interwebs, welcome to Past Blast. So, Doctor Who Series 1. A once dead sci-fi show was reborn.
Fantastic!
Fantastic.
Series 1 of Doctor Who burst onto our screens back on the 26th of March 2005, with Christopher Eccleston taking on the leading role as everybody's favourite Time Lord, the Doctor.
I'm the Doctor, by the way. What's your name?
But the Doctor's nothing without his companions, is he? In this series, he is joined by the wonderful Billie Piper, playing the iconic companion, Rose Tyler.
Rose.
Nice to meet you, Rose. Run for your life.
He is somewhat joined by Noel Clarke's Mickey Smith. Well, Ricky, I mean, that just sort of depends on who you ask.
Tell me, this must be Mickey.
Here comes trouble. How you doing, Ricky boy?
It's Mickey.
Not forgetting the absolute legend who still appears in the show all these years later, John Barrowman as Captain Jack Harkness.
Who the hell are you? Captain Jack Harkness.
So, let's start off with the positives. My favourite episode of Series 1, well, I'm going to go favourite story, kind of a cop-out, but, you know, I don't play by the rules. That feels like it was an impression, but I don't know what of. Anyway, my favourite story from Series 1 has got to be the massively impactful two-part finale, Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways. This is the episode where we do say goodbye to the 9th Doctor.
It means I'm going to change.
It's emotional, it's fun, you really get a sense that the Daleks are such a threat, and I'll draw more into this on my villains section, which will be later in this video, but yeah, this is Daleks at their peak. One of my favourite Doctors, favourite enemies, facing off, and this is the last time we see Rose, where she's not in her annoying phase.
I don't mean to be rude or anything, but who exactly are you?
Sorry, fans of Series 2. Captain Jack's there as well, and you get some great gags from him.
You're naked. But that's a compact laser deluxe. Where were you hiding that?
You really don't want to know.
And I love the fact that ultimately it's a mini sort of recreation of the Time War.
Because if I activate the signal, every living creature dies.
I want to see you become like me.
The Doctor is left with the choice. Does he or does he not wipe out all life to save the rest of the universe? You gotta love when philosophy and ethics and that sort of thing's in Doctor Who. The performances from the cast are absolutely fantastic. There is nothing I can fault about any of the performances. The only possible downside to the episode, you could argue, is that the ending is kind of a cop-out.
I take the words. I scatter them in time and space.
But I'll let it slide, because when Doctor Who does these mystery boxes, this series in particular being Bad Wolf, I think it's justified because we see the words Bad Wolf crop up throughout the series. So yeah, I'm going to give it a pass. I'm going to rate that finale a 10 out of 10. It is genuinely one of my favourite Doctor Who stories of all time. So, the overarching plot for Doctor Who Series 1, Bad Wolf. Blaig Drug.
I looked into the heart of the TARDIS, and the heart of the TARDIS looked into me.
So, before it starts chucking it down with rain, a rough outline of this plot. These two words are following our protagonists everywhere they go.
Bad Wolf.
But I've heard that before. Bad Wolf. I've heard that lots of times.
Bad Wolf.
Where we go. 2 words. Following us.
But what does it mean?
Bad Wolf.
How can they be following us?
Nah, just a coincidence.
It originally comes from the Bad Wolf Corporation. Rose Tyler scatters the words throughout time, and it's a bit complicated and convoluted. But overall, I think it worked really well. I like the imagery of Bad Wolf hence why it's on this wall, scattered throughout time. It's quite a unique idea, especially when the boy graffitis it on the TARDIS. So yeah, there's not too much to it. It's quite a simplistic one to start off with for Series 1, but I'm going to rate the Bad Wolf subplot a solid 8 out of 10. Now back inside because it's freezing out here. Time to talk about this series' cast of characters. Now, I can honestly say there isn't really any bad performance. There's no real iffy moments of acting or anything that stands out as absolutely horrendous, and I can't watch that. It feels as if every character was cast perfectly to play that role, and yeah, it's really, really well done. Now, companions. We have, as I've briefly talked about already, Rose Tyler. She's the full-time companion. She stays throughout the entire series. We have Mickey, who darts in and out, kind of being a companion. We have Jackie, who you can kind of class as a companion. She doesn't travel with the Doctor, but she's Rose's mother and always, yeah, she's that grounded, bringing Rose back to Earth figure. We have Captain Jack Harkness, who does become a companion by the end of the series, only introduced in episode 7, and he continues throughout the series. So, who's the best character? Now, in all honesty, I'm gonna have to go with Rose Tyler from Series 1 of Doctor Who is my favourite character. She works really well. I don't really like her subsequent appearance in Series 2, but for who she is in this series, she feels really grounded. She feels relatable. She stands up for what's right. She has a character arc. She learns from the Doctor.
The Doctor showed me a better way of living your life. That you don't just give up. You don't just let things happen. Make a stand. You say no. You have the guts to do what's right when everyone else just runs away.
Ultimately, Rose Tyler is the best companion of this series. Now, it would be criminal of me to forget Linda.
Linda with a Y.
Sweet little Linda, the almost companion from the finale.
I could come with you.
Maybe you could.
I wouldn't get in the way.
I wouldn't mind if you did.
But sadly, she was killed by the Daleks. The brief moments of interaction we have with her and the Doctor and Jack and whatever, apart from Rose being jealous, I'm not a fan of that. Apart from that, she is a wonderful companion, and it is really sad to see her exterminated by the Daleks. We can't just talk about the positives, we've got to talk about the negatives. Now, admittedly, there are no bad episodes in Series 1, but I do have to pick a worst episode. What I'm going to pick for the worst episode of Series 1 is Episode 5, The Long Game. Now, yeah, that's pretty much a universal opinion, but it's just not as good as the rest of Series 1. It's not up to scratch. Like, it's good, it's solid, but meh.
No wonder you can't get a screen to work. What are you, a student?
Oh, hello, Jackie.
The whole point of the story is kind of to show that not everyone can be a companion of the Doctor. They're not just random people. They have to be right. They have to gel with the Doctor. Hence why we have the companion of Adam, who basically is useless, self-obsessed, narcissistic, and gets sent back home.
That's it then. See ya.
However, it does have positives, like I love the imagery of the...
Like this.
Don't.
See, if I had a bigger CGI budget, I'd open my head up.
Stop it!
But what can you do? Also, it's criminal. It is absolutely criminal that Simon Pegg is just wasted in this episode, like the one and only Gary King.
There's only one Gary King!
This man could do so much more! Wrong series. But yeah, I even think Simon Pegg could actually pull off playing the Doctor, but that's probably not going to happen. So yeah, I've got to put The Long Game with the Jagrafess of the Holy Hadradathic Ranskorav Kolik, whatever his name is. I've got to put that villain at the bottom of the list. I've got to put that story at the bottom of the list. It really wasn't great. So, my next section, fun facts and bits of trivia that you may not know about Series 1. While many of the Earth-set stories, such as Rose and World War III, are mainly set in London, apart from one or two shots of iconic landmarks that simply couldn't be faked, the rest is actually just shot in and around the streets of Cardiff, as the budget wouldn't actually allow them to go anywhere else. During the filming of Series 1, Eccleston's relationship with the producers and the production team broke down beyond repair.
The universe of your filth! Why don't you just die?
Hence why he has never returned to the role, even when offered to return many years later in the 50th anniversary. At first, the owners of the Daleks, that being the Terry Nation estate, actually refused to give out the rights to the BBC to use the Daleks, so Russell T Davies, in a panic, created a backup monster called a Metaltron. Yeah, I'm not sure how well that would have turned out. This would have taken the place of the Daleks in both the story Dalek and the two-part finale. This Metaltron idea, however, did go on to inspire the Series 3 villains, the Tockler fame. This is also another reason as to why the concept of the Time War, the war between the Time Lords and the Daleks, was introduced, because it would explain away why we never saw Daleks again. Luckily, as we all know, Terry Nation allowed the use of the Daleks. Hugh Grant was approached to play the Doctor, but he refused, fearing that it would damage his career. Well, he was wrong. Very wrong. And he even admitted it in a 2007 interview where he claimed he deeply regretted missing the opportunity, as he just assumed that the show wouldn't take off. However, we are able to see him briefly in The Curse of the Fatal Death.
Result.
Oh dear, now look at that. I've gone and used up 3 whole bodies in just under a minute.
Now, Jack and Rose. Do those names sound familiar? Well, Russell T Davies named Rose Tyler, the Ninth Doctor's companion, and Captain Jack Harkness, after the iconic duo from the movie Titanic, Jack and Rose. So, the villains of the series. Who's the best? Who's the worst? Who's meh? Well, I'm going to start off with negativeness. I'm going to go the worst villain of the series, Cassandra. Like, there's some fans of Cassandra, but she's just a bit meh, really. Like, the acting's fine, but the character is what it is.
Speech 100.
It's a weird piece of skin who's basically a pantomime villain who's, yeah, quite over the top, not really very threatening. I don't enjoy her subsequent appearances either. So, yeah, I'm going to have to say Cassandra is my least favourite villain from the whole series. Now, my favourite villain. This is a really tricky one because I want to say the Daleks because they're so threatening and so good.
Would you care for some teach?
But I feel like that's a cop-out because this series didn't invent them. So I'm going to go with a villain that was specifically made just for this series alone and not already part of the Doctor Who canon. Now that does admittedly like lower the amount of villains I can use. Obviously I'd pick Daleks, but in the interest of fairness, somewhat controversially, I'm going to go with the Slitheen.
I'm not joking.
Now, that may sound incredibly stupid, but I think they're really good.
We are the Slitheen.
Like, watching it as a child in particular, I really enjoyed. And yes, you can say the episode's a bit too childish at points.
I'm shaking my booty.
I don't think it is. Obviously, they're quite clever inventions because they have the whole idea of politicians talking out of their... We censored that for the ad revenue. Not to mention the fact that they're literal monsters hiding in suits. See, people who say Doctor Who's not always been political, like, what are you talking about? Because obviously it's sort of, the whole episode is basically a metaphor for the, we have weapons of mass destruction.
Develops weapons of mass destruction. I remember the fact that he has invaded 2 countries before.
Then they have found massive weapons of destruction.
Unless we strike first.
Develops weapons of mass destruction.
He's making it up. There's no weapons up there. There's no threat. He just invented it.
Do you think they'll believe him?
Well, he did last time.
Context, no. And they're not one-note villains either, because we actually get to follow Margaret the Slovene in Boomtown and see her little journey, while the whole time it's still being comedic.
I need to be naked. Your body is magnificent.
We get moral dilemmas.
They have the death penalty. Take me home and you take me to my death.
Not my problem.
We get fun, we get weird ape-like Slovene running around smashing down doors. We get campiness, we get fun, we get weird-looking designs. So yeah, I'm going to say my Slovene are my favourite Series 1 villain. Overall, Series 1's villains are absolutely fantastic. So, before we wrap up the video, I asked you guys what you thought of Doctor Who Series 1. I should mention, I only allowed you one word to say it, so yeah, one word reviews of Series 1, here we go.
Hello YouTube and people of the interwebs. Series 1, fresh.
Perfect.
Incredible.
Good. Intriguing.
Nostalgic.
Fun. Darkophilic.
Suspenseful.
Exciting. Season 1 is fantastic.
Fantastic.
Great way to kick off the revival series of Doctor Who.
Revolutionary.
Reborn.
Absolutely fantastic.
I'm gonna go with underappreciated.
Fantastic. And it's underrated.
So, we've come to the end of Past Blast episode 1. What did you think? Did you enjoy this? Please do tell me, but before we go, I have got to rate the series as a whole. Now, yeah, this is one of the only times I'm going to do this, but I am going to give it a 9 out of 10. It's almost perfect. It is so close with episodes like Father's Day, the finale, all these things. It's so good. And you know that it's amazing when the low point of the series is still an incredibly watchable episode. That's why I'm giving Doctor Who Series 1 a 9 out of 10. If you did enjoy, remember to like, comment, subscribe. You know the drill. Thank you for watching. Tune in to episode 2 coming sometime in the near future. Thank you for watching and goodbye.
Don't forget to click below.
Subscribe to the confused Adipose.